Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Canada Hoops. It's your boy Matty. Thank you for your continued support. Please continue to download, rate, and review, and share us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Our big time guest today represents Richmond, British Columbia. He is a former Vancouver College Irish and Carleton Raven, where he would become a five-time national champion. He has played professionally nearly everywhere in Europe and back home in Canada in the CEBL as well. And perhaps more importantly, he bleeds red and white and always represents for Canada basketball when the program comes calling. And most recently, as a member of the World Cup team that won bronze and qualified the senior men's national team for the Olympics for the first time in 24 years. Stand up and make some noise for Philip Scrubb. Phil, thanks so much for joining us on Canada Hoops, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, like I said, man, do really appreciate the time. I know it's a busy time for you and your family, and yeah, man, just a thrill to have you on, and a guy that's been a part of the program for Canada basketball for so long, and sacrificing so much. Just how are things, man? Let our listeners know and your fans and friends and family just how you're doing, and where life's at right now for you.
Yeah, things are good. So just had a newborn a couple months ago here in Turkey. Everything went well. Everything, wife and baby are healthy, which is good. And just adjusting to kind of being a dad and playing basketball at the same time. It's a bit of an adjustment, but no, it's great. Like life is really good. I can't complain about anything.
That's good to hear. I know, a lot of us are probably parents and that are listening and kind of know how to juggle that, and maybe playing pro hoops at another level, obviously. But and then how's the season going, man? Just let us know about the season in Turkey and the club and just how the year's looking.
Yeah, it's going okay. I think we got off to kind of a rough start in the Turkish league. We had some tough losses, a lot of close games, but now we're kind of, I think, on the right track. We're I think a couple wins out of the playoff spot, and we got three more games before the qualification for the Turkish Cup, which is the mid-season like tournament they have here. So we'll have to win probably at least two of our next three, or maybe three, to get in.
Okay.
And I think we got a decent chance. And then and we're playing in the FIBA Europe Cup, which is a European competition, and we're doing pretty well in that. I think we're 7-1 right now in the second round. So I think if we win two more games, which start again in January, we'll be in the quarterfinals. Uh, so right now, I think we're in a good spot. But yeah, it's a long season, so you never know what could happen.
Nice. When we're over back home in Canada, sometimes it's a little hard to kind of track a lot of the guys playing in Europe and their seasons and teams. Are you getting to see many of the guys from the national team through the year? Like who have you kind of crossed paths with so far? Anybody?
No, I mean Deshaun Priere plays
Oh yeah.
in Fenerbahce. We play in the same gym
Okay.
here in Istanbul, so I've seen him. But everyone else, no, I don't think there's any other Canadians in Turkey, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, I don't think there's any
Right.
other Canadians. So I just have to kind of follow the other leagues. Like obviously, I'm following Spain a lot with my brother, and Trey and Kenny are out there, and
Right.
I'm sure I'm missing a couple other guys, but yeah, it's tough. I mean, not a lot of. I mean, a lot of the Canadian guys are spread out now, so I'm not seeing too many of them.
Right. Right. Um, you've played for the senior men's team like countless times in the summers, going into your pro year, and I'm sure that's always been beneficial. I'm just wondering with this year, man, and just the high of being at the World Cup, finishing third and qualifying. Like, is there any little extra, maybe mojo or parts of your game that you felt really helped, spending the time with the team this summer, like in moving into your season in Turkey?
Um, I mean, I think it was a great experience for me. After kind of missing out on qualifying for the Olympics a couple times earlier in my career, getting to be a part of that team with so much talent and um, not playing a huge role, but just being part of the team and being ready to play whenever I got in. Um, and I think it just gave me a lot of energy going into the season because, I missed training camp and I'm joining the team kind of right before the season. But I feel like I just had a kind of, I guess, a fresh mindset going into the year, coming off something so positive, got me excited about basketball, and um, it was just kind of a good energy around that team. So I think it was maybe not uh, something I added to my game basketball wise, but it was a really good mindset to be in going to a season where um, yeah, like you play a lot of basketball and sometimes you
Right.
don't have that extra motivation, but I think just being part of something so special gives you that good feeling going into the year.
Yeah, that's cool to hear. I mean, obviously, from afar and supporting the program, that team, the vibes with it were incredible. So it feels like a lot of guys are having a great year, no matter where they're playing. Just um, perhaps due to their time with the senior men's national team this summer, which is something us Canada basketball nerds like to kind of always put out there. Like, man, spend your time with the summer and spend your summer with the senior men's team, and you're going to have a good pro year. So that's really cool. Phil, man, can we run it back? Just let me know about a young you running around Richmond and just kind of how the hoops came into your life. And I know it's a bit of a family affair, obviously, but just talk about growing up and, maybe if you dabble in other sports and just doing that, man.
Yeah, so I mean, I think um, both both my parents played basketball at the university level. My dad at UVic and my mom at Bishops. So basketball is always part of our family. But I guess there was never any pressure to play. Like we all liked all different kinds of sports, and there was never. I don't know. It was just something we did for fun. I was never thinking about playing professional. Like we went to see the Grizzlies play, and that was cool. But we played basketball, soccer, uh, baseball. We did swimming, like competitive swimming. So it was just like playing different sports, and um, we played like 2-on-2 against our parents. Like just it's just like a fun activity with me and Tommy. Um, and then I guess like in high school, like you realize like okay, like I think I can be pretty good. Like I never thought I was gonna play professional still, but it's like oh maybe I have a chance to go play in university, and then that would be cool. So I think in maybe grade 11, I started to take basketball pretty seriously, like training with my dad and Tommy in the summer, um, playing on the provincial team, stuff like that. So I think it was key for me to not focus on it too early. And if I kind of figured out on my own that I actually like to play, there was no like outside pressure to do anything. And then that's where the love came from. It came from myself, and I think that's why I've continued to play so much. I didn't really feel burned out at all.
What you know, you and Tommy and shout out Tommy. Obviously, he's joined us and
Yeah,
appreciate his support and um, have just you're about a year apart, I think, right, in age.
yeah, he's a year older.
Yeah. So I mean, just how much having him there to push each other, just uh, how much of that mattered. Like just day to day, like you said, it was a lot of a fun aspect for the family, but uh, talk about maybe the competition, the brotherly competition between the two of you, and obviously you've gone to the highest level with the national team, which is such a cool story. Uh, how much did that really make a difference for the both of you, and and obviously a friendship with the brothership.
Yeah, I think it was just nice. Like growing up, I always played. Um, I guess, up a level. I just played on his team.
Right.
It was just nice playing with him, and like we were really close, so we always shared that experience. But I don't think we never liked to play against each other because I think we would like when we were really young because we would get sad if one of us lost. So
Right.
we always tried to play on the same team, whether it was like in organized basketball or 2-on-2 against their parents. We played on the same team, so at least if we lost together.
Nice.
Um, but we didn't play too much in high school. But I think once we got to university, um, then we were in a very competitive environment, and being at going through that at the same time, we picked up so many habits from Dave Smart and the coaches and the other players that we really just kind of embraced being more competitive. Um, and when I was playing against him in practice or something like that, or one on one, like it was never, this is my brother. This is just like a guy I'm competing against, because we were just so focused on getting better every day. And then after, like, you just go back to being brothers, and that was cool that we could just, when we were playing, we were competitors, but then off the court, we were very close, and we were just kind of going through everything together.
I like it. And I'm wondering, um, through high school and, the Grizzlies were still in town. Was there a player perhaps at that age for you that you really enjoyed watching and maybe tried to take pieces of their game? Like whose game did you really like as you were starting to grow your game?
Um, Man, well, with the Grizzlies, my favorite player was Mike Bibby.
No doubt.
Uh,
Yeah.
I, I thought I just liked the fact that he could shoot and he was a point guard. Um, and even though the team wasn't good, I could tell he was very, very talented. And but I feel like I liked all the players that were just in the NBA that were cool to like, or that I had no chance of being like, like Allen Iverson, Vince
Right.
Carter,
Right.
players like that like they're so talented, and their game is so, I guess, exciting to watch, and that's not how I played at all. So it's kind of like seeing something that I couldn't do and just being amazed. Um, but I think just watching NBA basketball at such a young age, it was just so motivating and cool to watch like high level guys play. Um, like even though the Grizzlies weren't great, like I got to see Allen Iverson come and play, and Vince Carter with the Raptors come and play. These like just like great players. So I think I loved basketball at that age, just watching and playing. But I just think that kind of set up down the road where when I decide I want to be good, like I kind of set that baseline, I guess.
Have you had a chance to like through your career and pro level and obviously national team, have you had a chance to come across any of those guys and meet them and maybe chat for 5 minutes?
I did my first year. I played with the Memphis Grizzlies in summer league in Orlando,
Right.
and
Yeah.
Vince Carter was on the team at the time, and we had our first practice at his house in Orlando. Like he had a full court and uh, like a bar with a bartender working there. It was just like a crazy experience, and it's
Sick,
something they
man.
just kind of sprung on us the day before, like, oh, we're going to Vince Carter's house, and he practiced with us. Him and Jeff Green
Nice.
practiced with us once, so it was yeah, very surreal and just something that just came out of nowhere. So it was cool.
That's cool, man. Um,
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask about high school a little bit, just with Vancouver College, because I know it's not right in Richmond. Was that kind of the school to go to at the time because of a basketball program? Just kind of talk about your career there at VC, man.
No, not really. I think my brother had gone the year before, and
Okay.
my dad was teaching there.
Okay.
So it was just a good school, and my since my dad was a teacher, I think the like it's a private school, so the tuition was either we didn't have to pay tuition or it was a lot lower. So I think it was just a great opportunity and a great school. And at that point, again, we weren't um, thinking about like a basketball career or anything. And I think it was just a good school. My brother was there, and they had a football team, which we wanted to play football too, which was cool. So it ended up just working out, which is cool.
What you know, obviously we got to get into the Carlton stuff, and you're wrapping up your high school. Just talk about that decision and that next step to find a place to play, maybe your recruitment, and then just why you did end up being a Raven, man.
Yeah, so like I think starting grade 11, like I wanted to go D1 so bad. Like that was,
Right.
we watched the NCAA tournament every year. It was right around the time Steph Curry was finishing at Davidson. I was like, man, I want to be like that guy. I want to go D1 and get a scholarship. And I think I probably wasn't ready at that point. Like I didn't get any Division 1 offers, which I think I was disappointed by. But looking back, I don't think I was. Um, Maybe I could have gone to a smaller school, but I wasn't at the level that I need to be to go to a good Division 1 school. Um, so Tommy had gone to Carleton the year before, and I was never really thinking about it. I was getting recruited a lot in BC, at UBC and UVic, and Trinity Western was good back then. But yeah, Dave Smart came. They played a tournament in Victoria. I think every other year they come, and I met with him and my parents, and he said he was interested. And I mean, I remember Tommy coming back to Vancouver over Christmas, and he came back and scrimmaged with my high school team, like my varsity team, and he was just like dominating. So I saw how much better he had gotten in like a 3 month span. And I was like,
Right.
whoa, like he must have been playing against some high level guys. And at that point, I don't know if Tommy even was fully committed to basketball back then. I know he didn't start being like taking it super, super seriously till a little later at Carleton. But so I knew he, just by being there, he had gotten so much better. And at that point, I wanted to be a pro. And um, if there was no D1 offers, I knew Carleton was the next best option. And yeah, it worked out. My brother was there. And I got to play right away, which was another really important factor.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, when you talk about Carleton as a program and CIS / U Sports, uh, many people feel, and I'm sure you've heard this, kind of regard you as, uh, you know, the greatest U Sport player of all time. Like I've had people, Michael Grange early on joined us on the podcast and remains a friend, and he's like, Phil could arguably be the best U Sport player of all time with all your accomplishments and 5-time national champ and tournament MVPs and national player of the years. Like I'm sure you've had a lot of time to reflect and think about your time there, and many things stand out. Um, what are you most proud of, just of your time at Carleton and the memories and the success, man?
I mean, a lot. Like, I think just being a part of so many great teams, um, like, not many people get to experience that. And I was kind of just dropped into this great situation where the Carleton had lost the year before. So, like, in the semifinals to Saskatchewan. So it was just immediately like an extra level of not pressure, but like it was very, very serious right away. And we were
Right.
training very, very hard. Um, and I learned so much my first year and every year after that. So I think I'm just proud of what I learned, how much I grew as a person, and all the other stuff is just kind of bonus. Like I think the 5 national championships was amazing, and um, but yeah, I think I love playing with a lot of great players there, a lot of good people, getting coached by one of the I think the greatest coaches ever, and learning so much. But I feel like now, like I've gone back and watched a couple games, and um, I watch it. I'm like, I don't think I was that good. Like, not that I wasn't that good, but like, I watched the games, and I think a lot of it was just like a perfect situation for me to excel. Like everything, um, not was catered to me, but like it was just a great situation for me, and it hit a lot of I think maybe weaknesses that I had at the time that I could play with four other amazing players on the floor. Play with Tyson Hins, who, you can just pass him the ball and he can go score. And eventually they have to double. I'm just getting open shots a lot
Right.
that maybe guys on other teams are not getting. So uh, I was just very lucky to be a part of that. And um, yeah, it was just lots of good memories. It was tough. Like it was very difficult, the training and the high standards every day. But yeah, I look back with mostly like positive memories.
Let's talk about Coach Dave Smart and his impact. I mean, like you said, he's uh, arguably one of the best this country's ever had, and he's done a lot with the national team at different levels. You know, what stands out to you the most in terms of his impact with you specifically?
I think looking back, um, it's weird because you're in the moment and he's very tough on you. He has high expectations, and these are expectations that are based on the goals I had coming in, like wanting to play professional and play with the national team. Um, like he's immediately like held me to those standards. So in the moment, it's tough because you can't get away with anything, and he's trying to push you to be better every day. Um, and then eventually, as you get older, you realize how much that tough love is just caring about you as a person and wanting you to succeed. Um, like as he's, ripping on you or trying to maybe take away your confidence so you have like in practice, so in a game like it becomes a situation where nobody can take your confidence away. And then you realize behind the scenes he's pushing me every day to be part of the national team. And I feel like I got a lot of opportunities because of him, and because he believed in me so much. I think my first couple stints with the senior team with the exhibition games in Europe, I was not playing well, and they kept bringing me back because I think Dave was so, like, I mean, maybe like influencing them or in their ear, just saying how much potential I had.
Right.
And I don't think I'd be where I am today as a person and a player if he wasn't in my corner. So um, yeah, nothing but great things to say about him. I owe a lot to him, and yeah, I was just lucky to kind of get dropped in a situation where I got to learn and be coached by him.
Yeah, well said. And I'm just curious, like the school's had continued success almost year after year. It seems like after you and Tommy have left, which speaks to just the pedigree of the program now in this country. Do you get a chance to get back and see people and visit and kind of be on campus? Do you get much of an opportunity for that anymore?
I haven't the last little while. I think ever since maybe COVID. Like I live in St. Catharines now with my wife,
Right.
and it's just tough to get back. But I used to train there in the summers, the first 3 4 years after I graduated, and it was great. But yeah, like I still follow the program, and it's tough since I like everybody that I had played with is gone now. I
Right.
feel like I'm just so much older. But like I still know Taffy. I saw him last summer. He was in St. Catharines, so I saw him. So um, it's good to kind of stay connected to the program because there's so many good people, and I feel like whenever you see someone from back then, it's just a great experience, and you can kind of reminisce on the good old days.
I just want to ask real quick, like when you hear the comment, people, how they regard you in terms of CIS, U Sports basketball history, like, arguably the best all time, and the many accomplishments. Like, um, when you're going through that in the moment, you're just trying to win and compete and help your teammates. But when you hear that now, like what are your thoughts on that? Because, and I just want to add, like, the level and the talent now in U Sports has just grown tremendously. Where it's not going to be uncommon to see um, many guys playing in U Sports start to have real good um, pro careers, time with the senior men's national team. Um, and you've done that obviously, right? And same with Tommy and some other players. And, your uh, spot on the roster at the World Cup to me speaks to that. Uh, but when you hear that and people say that, Phil, like, what's your thought on that? Like, I know I'm sure it's special, but just take me through some feelings on Phil Scrubb being the best U Sport player of all time.
I mean, I don't know how to feel about it. I think it's for me. I guess it's kind of awkward, I guess, because it's. I think again, like I said, I was put in a good situation, and um, you kind of just, I guess, build up accolades if you play uh, at Carleton. I got an opportunity to play right away,
Right.
um, which helped. But yeah, I mean, it's great that people are saying something like that. But I don't really think about it too much. I think there's lots of great players in U Sports that maybe have not or didn't get the perfect situation like me. But it's cool to be talked about among like some of the greatest ever. Like, but I still think Eli Pasquale is the greatest U Sports player ever or CIS player ever.
Well, listen, that's a pretty good guy to be lumped in with, and past guests that are well aware of Eli's career know how special he was. So, I mean, if it's you and Eli being mentioned, Phil, like that's pretty damn good, man. So you should. I know you're a humble dude, but obviously you should feel good about the success there. Man, let's talk about going pro. You mentioned summer league with Memphis. I know you had summer league with the Raptors at one point. Um, you got the ability now to go pro and play professionally. Just talk about that next step and decisions you had to make with that and getting that part of your career going, man.
Yeah, it was kind of yeah, like right after university, I got to play summer league in Memphis, and then with Toronto in Vegas, which was a great experience. I think at that point I had some um, aspirations to play in the NBA, and it was good experience early on in my career to kind of, I guess, test what my skill level was like compared to guys that could play in the NBA or have played in the NBA. But yeah, after that, I signed in Greece, um, and it just didn't work out. Like I came in, I didn't play much right away, um, and yeah, it was kind of my first situation going, or my first time going into a situation, and just like things just didn't go my way. I wasn't playing well. I'm coming off a great CIS season. I come in and I'm playing 8 minutes a game, so it's kind of a wake up call that Europe is, I mean, pretty cutthroat. You have to come in and you have to perform. There's no um, kind of warm up time, even if you're a rookie. Like they expect you to come in and play well right away. Um, but I ended up leaving and going to Frankfurt, which I think was the best situation for me in my professional career. I got to play under Gordy Herbert, uh,
Nice.
who is another one of the best coaches I've ever seen. Um, and I got to play with Aaron Dornekamp, and um, they had a great team there that year, and we won the FIBA Europe Cup. and I got to play and be a part of the team, and I think improve and get used to the professional game. So that kind of just set the tone for me, and I kind of got my confidence back and realized I could play at the higher European level. Um, then after that, yeah, I kind of just built off that. It's kind of a funny business because it's mostly 1 year contracts,
Right.
and to get a better contract, you have to play well individually mostly, but you have to think about the team as well to do that. Like you want to fully integrate into the team and not just be going out there for yourself and playing for stats. So and you get a mix of guys who are doing that, and guys who are just thinking about their next contract. So it's a tough situation, and coming from Carleton, where everything was, for the team, for your teammates, you come into like the professional world where you're getting paid money to perform, and it's definitely a different feeling. But yeah, it was a good experience in Germany that I could go there and play under a Canadian coach and learn from a lot of veteran guys.
Yeah, I mean, I know you had pretty good success there too, and individually, and it kind of, like you said, I think maybe kickstarted your career in Europe in a good way. And obviously, we all know here in Canada, Gordy is a great basketball mind, and just took Germany to the World Cup championship. I know you played in Russia and had some experience there, and uh, just talk about that, what that's like on and off the floor, maybe. And I know you eventually had to leave after the invasion, if you will, of Ukraine there, and like many other guys, I know Kevin Pangos was in the same situation. Yeah, just talk about other teams and situations, and what you've kind of maybe just uh, enjoyed the most about overseas. Phil, you've had a lot of great stops and different programs. Man, just take us through it.
Yeah, just kind of been all over the map. I guess looking back, it's cool that I've played in so many different places. But I
Yeah,
guess as you get older, you'd like to kind of have a more stable situation, somewhere you can go back to, and you know the area, and maybe have enough time to learn the language. Um, but I think especially, a place like Russia, my first year I played in St. Petersburg, uh, which was an amazing city. Um, like great restaurants, great food, lots of culture, and very different from the rest of Russia. And I think like a little more touristy. So I love that city, and I think what's cool about playing in so many different situations, you meet, like how many people get the opportunity to meet actual Russian people in Russia, um,
right.
teammates, and like it's just basketball is such a kind of uniting force because everyone, um, you realize everybody, they're just people, right? And you meet lots of great people from different countries, and you learn about their cultures and they learn about yours. But yeah, I think my favorite situation was still Germany. Like I played in France, um, Spain, which is a great league. Uh, but I think playing under Gordy and with those guys, he just brought in great people, um, and it was one of my first situations. So you're not making the most money, but that's when I felt basketball was, I guess, the purest for me. I had the most fun playing. Everyone on the team was kind of united towards the goal, and there were no like egos on the team, which is really nice. Um, and then last year I got to play, or the last year and a half, I got to play with Tommy in Spain, which was,
Right.
I never thought I'd get to play with him again outside of the national team. Um, but it was great, like living there, seeing his family, like his son grow up a little, his daughter being born, and getting to see him every day. Like the years before that, I would maybe see him for a week, maybe in the summer if we visited. Like I feel like that's
Right.
such a long time after living with him for 5 years in university, and obviously our whole life before that. So just a great experience. And yeah, we were really lucky to get in that situation.
Yeah, I thought that was cool, and I'm sure many of the Canada basketball fans enjoyed that. And I asked Tommy about that too on his episode. It was just like, how great was that now where you guys are this far along in your pro career after having played at Carleton together to reunite, if you will, on the floor and play that year in Spain. I'm sure that was special, like you said, and just a cool thing to see from the outside, like I said. And I just, Phil, I want to ask you about the CEBL. I know you spent a little bit of time in the league back home in Canada in the summers. Getting that opportunity to play some pro games in front of friends and family. Like, how cool is that, man? And special for a guy like you who's, really come up through the ranks, through the game in the country and played at the highest level with the national team and a great pro career. But to be able to come home and play in front of the people that really helped you the most, and if you can just talk about the league as a whole, it seems to be just a great league, how they're operating year after year, and the growth is awesome. Just give us your thoughts on the CEBL, man.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, the league's done an amazing job of growing in such a short amount of time. Um, I think that's like, especially as I get older, the more you just miss being in Canada,
Right.
and the fact that the league is growing and there's a situation where maybe guys don't have to leave Canada to play professionally is awesome. And the fact that there's like high level guys playing in the league, like Tommy, Cassius Robertson, Trey, Bell Haynes play in the league.
Right.
Um, I think it just draws interest, and I think the more guys like that play, and they bring in some great imports from the U.S. and now overseas, they're allowed, I think, a guy to bring in for each team. I think the league will grow, and yeah, it's cool to see. I'm was really happy to play for Niagara, and yeah, like I love the league, and maybe it's hard to say now if I'll play again in the future, but I think I'll be following the league, and I hope it'll keep growing to the point where guys can make more and more money, and lots of people come to the games, and it's a situation where guys can maybe stay in Canada full time.
Yeah, well said. I know, we've had lots of guests, like you said, have joined us and spent time in the league and great things to say about it. And like I live in Calgary. Last year was the first year for the surge here in the city, and great reception, and the city's loving them, and they're doing a great job. And I was at championship weekend, Phil, in Edmonton 2 years ago, and you hit the winner to put the squad into the finals, and
Oh,
everyone was, you know what I mean, and everyone's like, "Well, this is Phil, man. This is what he does." Like, what we're not shocked. I mean, I just thought it was just a cool moment, just knowing how much you've done for the game and in the country, and it was just cool to see you making a mark in the CEBL. I just like this is how it should be. This should be like a guy like Phil making that shot, Canadian League, and we're trying to emphasize the Canadian talent. I just thought that was just a cool moment, man. So no, the CBL is doing a good job, and it's just cool to get everybody's aspect on that, and hopefully the
for
growth, like
sure.
you
Yeah.
said, yeah, it keeps going. And like you said, I think the more high level guys like yourself that come back and play and put time in the summers that the young players can see, like a Phil Scrubb coming back to play and throughout Canada with the league, and that makes an impact, right? Where that young player is going to want to do the same thing, and they've done a really good job too of putting teams in markets that um, really want it to and are
Hmm.
grabbing a hold of it, and so that's really cool to see.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
appreciate you not mentioning we got smoked in the final by
no,
40
I don't
there,
want to.
but
Yeah, well,
yeah.
playing the Stingers, right? Like it was.
Yeah,
the
it's
next or on the Sunday there, they were pretty fired up for the home win, and I think
yeah. That's
Jordan Baker knew he was on his way out, so he had to get a dub there. So uh,
yeah.
no, but that was cool, right? Like it was just you know that's what that league should be about. Like I said, man, just
Hmm.
kind of getting the opportunities for guys from Canada and to have a moment, which was super great. Phil, on Canada Hoops, man, we obviously love to talk Canada basketball, especially with guests who have played for the program, which you have seemingly always tried to do. For you, man, just through the years, what does represent Canada basketball and wearing the red and white mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot. Like I think that's, I guess, one of the things I remember dreaming about when I was younger, like playing for the national team, um, seeing a guy like Steve Nash uh, play for the national team. It was always a goal of mine. Um, and then I think the fact that I got so many opportunities to play, um, guys like Jay Triano, Rowan Barrett, kind of sticking with me through the years with the kind of early struggles with the senior team. Um, I feel like that's why I feel such an obligation to play whenever time they ask, because I think they've given me so much and so many opportunities, that I owe it to guys like that who have been part of the program and who are still there to play every time. And I think gotten I've gotten more out of it than they have gotten from me. So I love playing. I feel like it's helped me and my career. So I owe a lot to the national team, and yeah, I'm proud to play every time I can.
Um, I just love to know, like, what's been your approach with, really trying to do whatever it takes to play for the program, when they come calling. I mean, you and Tommy were the only two players to play for Canada in all 12 World Cup qualifier games. Um, and that's not an easy thing to do. You're overseas. I think a lot of us recognize that you got to travel a long ways to play a couple games for these windows. Um, what's been the mindset to do that for you? And then, at the end of it, knowing that you played in all 12 qualifiers, like, did you think that was something that was going to be possible when that journey started? Like, just let me know about that, man. Because when you look at that, that's pretty crazy. And also, I think it's really understated how special that is, man.
Yeah, I think it's just, for me, it was kind of just getting in a rhythm, I guess. Like they would ask, and then I would say yes because I was healthy, and
Right.
um, the thing is, like the travel and stuff. Initially you're like, I don't want to do it. Like we have to fly from Spain to Argentina or to Brazil or Dominican Republic. But I started realizing after I was done, I was always glad that I went, like despite all the travel and stuff like that. So just remembering that feeling to be like, at the end of this, you're going to be glad you went and did it. Um, and the fact that they just kept asking me to come, I was like, why wouldn't I go? Like there's no reason for me not to
Right.
go. Like there's a break in the European season. They be practicing most of the time here, so may as well go play some games, and seeing guys now at the point where I'm seeing guys that I've played with and Canadian guys and the staff. It's just really good to see those people a couple times a year. Um, and I think, yeah, just there's so many advantages to going and playing. I think, yeah, most of the time, be crazy for me to say no.
No, I mean, well said. I think the sacrifice and the commitment was obviously noticed by many of us and was very appreciated. And I wanted to ask about the last qualifier window game in Edmonton. I was there actually. That's where I connected with Tommy, and and whatnot. And it seemed like that group um, was really fired up to be the group that uh, was going to punch the ticket to the World Cup and qualify. And was that a conversation you guys were all having? Like, hey, we're going to be the guys, like, because there'd been so many guys through all the windows that had played to help qualify, whether it was, earlier that year in Victoria and with the NBA guys, or windows down in the Dominican through the winter. Like, um, was that a conversation you guys were having in Edmonton? Like, hey, a lot of guys have played and contributed, but we're going to be the group that punches the ticket and gets it done, and then because ultimately we know how special the World Cup was. But I'm just wondering about the conversations with that group in Edmonton, man.
Yeah, I think that was always part of it because I think a lot of us had been and played together so many times.
Right.
Um, we wanted to win every game, and we expected to win every game. I think we just had a good, like, close group with really, really good chemistry that had been together a long time, like years and years of playing with the national team, and um, the fact that we were the ones to qualify meant a lot. And we were always kind of taking it game by game, like we weren't looking too far ahead. We weren't looking back at games we may have lost or whatever, but we just wanted to win every game we could. And the team just like gelled really well, like all the guys through that window. I feel like a lot of the core guys of the European guys stayed and played almost every game.
Right.
So it felt good to qualify with those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, well said. I mean, that was just a cool moment because it's like, holy, this is, all the windows and all the different guys that contributed, and now it's happening, and the team gets the opportunity to go to the World Cup, and obviously, such a special tournament. The third place finish and beating the U.S. for the bronze, and qualifying versus Spain. Um, you know, Obviously the World Cup was very special, Phil, and for the you as players and the coaches and the program, and for those of us who have watched and supported the program for, in my case, over 2 decades now. From inside the team in that locker room, man, like what are moments and highlights that stand out for you, just being a part of that tournament and that group of guys? Like, what, when you look back now, like what stands out for you, man?
I think just the feeling in the team that we were going to do something special. I think we had obviously a lot of NBA players um, and a lot of great players, but I think there was just this level of confidence, especially with a guy like Shai leading the team, that like we could beat anybody. Um, and I think especially when we lost to Brazil, and then it just immediately becomes like a do or die to get into Olympics after winning all the previous games. Um, I feel like I was still very confident in the team, uh, having Shai, Dillon, RJ, Kelly, Dwight, like guys that uh, had either had a lot of international experience or just had like a very, very high level of confidence in their ability. Um, and the fact that the team didn't really have any guys with an ego, guys that just wanted to win and were there because they wanted to be a part of something special, So as someone who was kind of more or less a bench player, just being able to observe all that and the day to day, how everyone, the coaching staff, the physios, the equipment managers, everybody was kind of working at such a high level to accomplish the goal, and it was just really cool to see like years and years of work come together in one moment. Yeah, I'll never forget that experience.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And I know, I wanted to ask you, we talked about the 12 windows to qualify for the World Cup, and the playing and all those. And um, I think it was special for a lot of us to see you, Trey, Melvin, Kyle, just be a part of this roster in the World Cup? Because like, you guys, you did so much for the winter windows, and these roster spots aren't handed out; they're earned, right? And you get to be part of this 12 that goes and plays for the national team. Just how gratifying was it for you personally? Uh, and with respect to maybe the Lebanon game where you got quality minutes, you shot well and you contributed. I rewatched like a 15, 20-minute highlight clip of the game there yesterday, and I'm like, Trey's going off. Trey's joined us, and shout out Trey. But you were like
Yeah.
dishing on so many of his threes. It was just a cool moment, I think, for a lot of us, and it really resonated. Like we were all aware of what it took to get the team to the World Cup to start having success there, and it's guys like yourself that put the program in that spot. What did that mean for you personally to get those minutes and contribute and have the other guys support you in those moments? Just that had to be special, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't want to, like, I guess I had no expectations going into the camp. I wanted to be there um, to help the team prepare. I wasn't necessarily expecting to make the team. If I did, great. But yeah, it was cool to have some sort of impact on some of the games. I think like you want to support the team wherever you can, and just being able to play in some games and hit some shots or get some assists or whatever and play good defense. Um, yeah, it just meant a lot. Like a lot of guys didn't get to be there, so I felt anytime I got, I kind of owed it to them to try to play my best. And yeah, it was good to have the support of the team and the coaches in those situations to put me out there when we have a lot of talented guys that they could have played 40 minutes. So it was cool.
Yeah, well said. I think, man, those moments will stand out for me as a fan and a supporter for years. Just seeing, you get those opportunities and those looks. And I mean, the tournament was so special as a whole. Like it's one I'll never forget. Just watching the games and locking in, and moments like, the first game against France, and it was kind of like, I'll say it like it's sort of a statement game. Like, hey, first game, and you guys wax them and kind of put everybody on notice for the tournament. Did that just really elevate the mindset? Like, hey, you talked about you felt as a group we were going to do something special. Did that really take it to another level? Like, yeah, we know what we got here, and we're gonna do some damage in this tournament. Talk about the France game in a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, I think it was the first situation where I was like, whoa, like I think we're a pretty serious team. Like France,
Right.
um, they're obviously considered a powerhouse, and for us to come out in the first game and beat them by a lot, I think I guess gave us confidence that we could play with any team in the tournament. So yeah, that was a great game for us. But at the same time, we beat them, we beat Latvia, and then you lose to Brazil, and now it's like, oh, like now we kind of have to. It's basically, yeah, like a do or die game with Spain. But the fact that I think we beat France like that, I think again, like it gave us confidence that we can play with anybody, and um, even if we lose one game, like we had lots of guys who play well under pressure, which helps. So yeah, it was a good way to start off the tournament beating a team like that.
Yeah, no kidding. And I think a lot of us were um, like I had mentioned on previous episodes with people and on a couple other podcasts when we were getting ready to watch the World Cup and talk about the program. Um, I was kind of calling it a Canada basketball summer for a lot of different reasons, and I just felt like the team was going to do something special, right? So um, after that first win, I wasn't surprised, but I was like, okay, it's real, it's here. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
um,
Mhm.
that was just so cool to see. And obviously, I just want to talk about the Spain game, Phil. Like, a gritty win, and everyone knows what's on the line in terms of staying alive and qualifying. Um, and I'm not afraid to admit it, man. I was emotional watching it, just because I've tried to rock with the program for so long. And afterwards on the broadcast, and you may have seen it or heard it. Guys are hitting the locker room, and Kelly and Dwight are emotional, and a lot of other guys like yourself and Melvin have done so much for the Winter Core. Just take us through the emotion, man. Just especially being back there, and Rowan's in there, and he's put a lot of time in with the program, obviously. And uh, what's the conversation like after knowing that you're the group that qualified the team, man?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, it didn't seem real. Like it was a very emotional game, like very close game too. Um, and you kind of don't know what to feel. I feel like ever since I guess 2016 was the first time that I was a part of a team that didn't qualify, and it felt like it took forever to get to this point. But to see, yeah, guys like Kelly, Dwight, Melvin, guys who are part of that first team, they've
Right.
done so much to carry the program, and they've always showed up when they can. And then the training staff, the like Rowan, the training staff, the doctors, some of the equipment guys, they've been there, taking time away from their jobs to be there and support the team, checking in during the year. Like they care so much about the program, so it was great for those guys to get that moment. I think a lot of people really deserved it, and yeah, now looking back, like it's one of the best experiences of my life, just being a part of the team that did it. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, crazy special group, and just moments that so many of us are going to remember. And I just I love kind of hearing the thoughts on guys that are part of it, and just a special team and group. You talk about Shea, man. I just want to ask, like, obviously, all world, and he's crushing guys in the NBA right now, and just hit the big winner against Denver the other night. When you have a guy like that leading the program and leading the team, Phil, like, what's it gives you a lot of confidence, but um, maybe just talk about kind of how he is around the guys off the floor too. Like, I know he's a laid back dude and still stays pretty humble, but just talk about Shea as a teammate and just maybe as a friend, man.
Yeah, it's one of those guys who, yeah, is very laid back. Um, like a really good guy, really good teammate. Um, and I think like when you see him doing what he does on the court, like he's so competitive and so talented that I guess it's almost a shock that he's such a good guy off the court. I think
Right.
he just really cares about basketball, wants to get better. Um, and I think just like having that type of person as your leader, you kind of know your team is going to be successful. As if your best player is such a like good, like humble guy, I think your team is in a really good spot. So I think it just gives everyone um, confidence, and it also makes your team culture um, really good because you know that your leader is um, just a good guy. So I think it's cool to be around someone like that. That I feel like he, as a person, he's not talking down to anyone. He's not giving off that I'm one of the best players in the world vibe off the court, but on the court, he's obviously like a very special player.
Yeah, no kidding. And I think everyone feels good about him kind of being the face of the senior men's team, and in so many ways. And uh, just what you mentioned about him, I've heard that. Just a great dude, and he's obviously the game speaks for itself. And I wanted to ask about Dillon Brooks. Uh, Many of us viewed him sort of as an X factor. When it was all said and done, we loved his contribution, and He just brings a bit of a swag and an edge to the team too, which I thought was needed. Just talk about his impact. I know he was. I think Trey had mentioned like kind of took Zach under his wing and made sure young Zach had what he needed when you guys were traveling and whatnot. Just talk about Dillon as a teammate and just his impact as a a guy on the floor, man.
Yeah, I thought Dylan was, I think, key to us being so successful. I think he's a great plays great defense, um, gives energy, plays the right way, can pass, can shoot. And I think just holding the team accountable for defensive effort and energy. Um, yeah, like I think that having a guy like that on your team, um, who is also very talented, but at the same time does like the tough jobs is very important. So um, he's a good guy, I guess. If you get to know him, and I think he's like the perfect teammate for a team that needs some toughness um, and some energy.
Yeah, awesome, man. I thought he really brought it, and he was just so much fun to watch. And uh, you could tell he is a good teammate and cares about the guys. And I think he really embraced that opportunity to uh, maybe elevate his game. I feel like he used the World Cup as an opportunity to really get better, like
Yeah.
grow his game, which was cool to see. And um, is it safe to say the World Cup, through all your time playing for the program, Phil, like is the World Cup the highlight for you?
It's hard to say. Like, I think I think it's probably yeah, probably the greatest achievement. But I think I've had so many good memories of individual games, trips, stuff like that. I think qualifying for the World Cup the first time we played in Brazil. We played Brazil in Brazil. Um, was a really special moment. Um, qualifying for the World Cup in Edmonton again is another special moment.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I feel like it's such a a long career with the team that there's just individual moments that are kind of scattered everywhere. But it was nice to end not end my national team career, but have something towards the end of my national team career that's so special and that I'll remember. Yeah, remember forever.
Yeah, nice, man. That's a good reflection. I'm just wondering, like other than Tommy, obviously you guys are very close and playing together on the national team, but is there guys that you've played with over the years that you've grown really close with and developed a good friendship and maybe necessarily didn't know them until you started playing with the program together? Did anybody stand out for you, man?
Yeah, a lot of guys. I mean, a guy like Trey, like I didn't know before, and um, I feel like we're pretty close now. We keep in touch and we train a little bit in the summer. Uh, guys like Aaron Best, who played at Ryerson, I didn't really know other than a guy I played against. Knowing him pretty well now and playing with him. Kenny Sherry, again, I played with in Russia a couple years ago, and he's a
Right.
really good friend now. Connor Morgan, who I didn't know that well before, but um, every time I get to see him and play against or play with him is awesome. There's so many guys that, yeah, like it's just that's the reason I like to go back and play every time. It's just to see and play with those guys again because it's yeah, you develop good relationships and um, it's fun playing with your friends. Like that's what makes I guess that's basketball. It's purest form. You look back at high school and before that, you just playing with your friends and having fun. So it's cool to have so many good relationships with the team.
Um, you've been a part of the program for uh, a few years now and part of some great teams. And you've been teammates with so many guys through the program. So I'm interested to hear your answer. Who is Phil Scrubb's top 5 or favorite 5 of all time for Canada basketball?
Do I have to have played with them or just all time, all time?
No, man, all time, whatever you want. If you want to do your top or your favorite, if you need a
Okay.
6-man spot, whatever, you could throw yourself in there. Like it's your 5, man.
Okay. I think I'll try to do an all British Columbia team, but maybe I'll add another guy. So I'll go
Yeah,
Steve
man.
Nash,
Yeah,
uh, Tommy Scrubb, Kelly Olynyk, Howard Kelsey, and
nice.
Brady Heslip as my last guy.
Hey,
Brady
I
was a
like
guy
it, man. I
who,
like it.
yeah, we started, or my first time with the national team, I was his roommate, and he kind of, I guess, took me under his wing a little bit, and I just remember playing with him was so easy because I could just throw him the ball and he'd just shoot and make it every time. It was awesome. So I love playing with Brady, and I feel like he's a good friend now too. So
No, I love it, man. I mean, Brady joined us early on and supported us, and yeah, he's a flamethrower, man. Man, can he ever shoot the pill? So,
yeah.
and then yeah, Steve doesn't not make many people's 5. I think he's pretty much in it, right? So, I think I'm a few years older than you, but for a lot of guys our age or generation, like Steve's a guy, right? So
For
that's
sure.
cool, and I'm a big Kelly fan. Just such a warrior like yourself for the program, and I kind of got Um, I think I got a 5 cemented for myself too, and so Kelly and Steve are in
Nice.
there, and um,
Nice.
yeah, so appreciate that. And there's so many people; it's hard to do, right? You could do a roster, and especially after this World Cup run, and oh my goodness, there's so many guys, and we've had people put you in theirs just because of your contributions. So I love asking that question, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I could put like 20 guys on the list, but it's tough. But no, those
You
I
got
think
you
those
got to
five
narrow it
guys
down.
are like a mix of like motivational guys for me when I was younger, and uh
Right.
guys I played with that I just love seeing play and playing with them.
Uh, I just wanted to ask real quick. Just kind of came to mind, like Kelly getting named the captain for the World Cup. Um, Obviously, probably an easy choice for the group, and not much debate. What was that conversation like? And was that just pretty much a no-brainer for KO to be the captain of the squad?
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of just like implied. We didn't even need to talk about it. Like he
Right.
was the he was the leader of the group. He had the most experience, and um, I think having him out there and with the team every day, again, just gave us a level of confidence and experience that maybe other teams might have had a little more of. Like we know Kelly had a lot of experience playing at the national team level in big games against different teams. So yeah, he was the kind of no brainer choice for sure.
Awesome, man. Hey, Phil, anyone you'd like to see join us on Canada Hoops that's got a good Canada basketball story, and maybe you might have to help me connect with them. But who do you think should join us, man?
Man, there's so many guys. I think. Have you had Keza on yet?
Yeah, actually, yeah, Kaiser was pretty early, man. Like kind of the first year doing it through the pandemic, and so he gave us good insight about Carlton and Coach Smart and the
Nice.
legacy there. Yeah, I did have K's on.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm trying to think of guys. You probably had so many of the guys on. Like you've had
I've been
Trey, you've
fortunate.
had yeah,
I've had Trey,
Tommy.
Mel, Tommy, Brady. I've been fortunate. Yeah, like now it's kind of. I guess when I asked that question, there's a few that obviously haven't joined us, but so many have. So thank you to everyone
Yeah,
that's done that.
for
Yeah.
sure. What about Connor Morgan? Have you had Connor on yet?
No, I haven't had Connor, and I have hit him up. Um,
Yeah.
Not, yeah, I'd love to get Connor on, man. No doubt.
Yeah, Connor's a great guy, and he's playing really, really well right now
He
in
is.
London.
He's
He's
tearing
having
it up in London. Yeah.
so he'd be a
Yeah.
good guy to have. I think that would be like
All
a
right.
very, very entertaining podcast. So yeah.
Let's do it. Phil, man, any shout outs or thank yous before I get you out of here? And again, it's been an honor, and we appreciate you joining us and taking the time to sit down, man.
Yeah, no problem. It's fun. Yeah, I mean, I think I've been pretty lucky in my career. Like I've had a lot of good mentors, a lot of people that believed in me, and yeah, I just feel kind of blessed to be in the situation I am, and I have so many good memories of basketball and at every level, you know, high school, university, national team, professional. So yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and it's kind of good to reminisce about some of this stuff.
No, I appreciate it, and we wish you all the best, and to you and your family, and stay safe, and looking forward to seeing you in the red and white again, man.
Awesome, sounds good.
All right, that's it for another episode of Canada Hoops. I want to thank the Canada Basketball Warrior Phil Scrubb for pulling up. Thank you for listening. Download, rate, and review us wherever you get your podcasts. Keep supporting Canada basketball and our Canadian Hoopers, and we will see you on the next episode.